Hi everybody, it's Judy here. Welcome to today's video. I need to repot my big fiddle leaf fig tree and I thought I'd do it on camera here for you guys so you can see the process and what I do with it. So yeah, let's do it. I've needed to do this for a while now. I've been putting it off because it's going to be such a big job. And I know fiddle leaf fig trees are really fussy. This has been sitting happy for about the 2 years, almost 2 years that I've had it now. But in the last several months, I've seen it slowly decline, like the leaves are turning a bit yellow. They're starting to droop and not pick up after I've watered it like they normally do. A lot of the leaves on the lower branches have fallen off, so you can see the stems down here are a little bit naked, whereas this used to be full of leaves. So I thought I'd better get on top of it and repot it before I lose any more leaves on the stems and before this starts looking naked on the bottom and only have the leaves at the top left. So I'm gonna repot it. I don't have a blanket laid out like I normally do because I need to vacuum my floor anyway. So once I repot this, I'm gonna be vacuuming my floor. I thought it's a good push to actually vacuum my floor. So there we go. I got this tree, I think it was like $35 on discount at Bunnings way back when I bought it. And it's still sitting in the original nursery pot. So I was struggling to find a pot big enough to repot it into, like a nursery pot, and then I just wanted to keep it in a nursery pot and then just put it in a cover pot. But I couldn't find a nursery pot big enough, so I'm just gonna have to put it into this one, which is a self-watering pot, straight into here. And then because it's gonna be so super big and heavy, I bought one of these little trolleys to wheel it around on when I take it to get watered. So just remember that small plants get bigger. The bigger they are, the harder they are to manage watering wise and cleaning wise and all that. I still do want to water this in the shower, but we'll see how I go. It's really big and I'm gonna struggle to water it in the shower. But small plants get bigger, like I said, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So here we go. I've got my soil mix made up here. If you want to see a video of how I mix my soil, I'm gonna leave that video linked up here and in the description box down below. I go into in depth of how I mix my soil in that video. So I'm just gonna put some soil at the bottom of this pot and repot this tree. Now it's huge, you guys. I'm kind of interested to see on how root bound this is going to be because, like I said, it's still sitting in the original pot. Plus I just watered this a couple days ago, which is like it's going to be a bit heavy, and I'm really hoping that repotting this tree isn't going to send it into some kind of shock to make it drop all its leaves. But either way, it's declining, so I need to do something about it. It's just really heavy. All right, you guys can watch me struggle for a bit. All right, there we go. I've loosened it, making a really big mess. Okay, there we go. So it's not as root bound as I thought it would be. The soil itself is quite compacted down, as you can see there. All right, I thought it would be a hell of a lot more root bound than this, but it's not. The soil is just very compact, which is why I think it's started to struggle a bit. So I don't really want to disturb those roots. This is so heavy, oh my gosh. The soil it's sitting in is actually not too bad. It's not really fine soil. All the chunkiness has risen to the top from the watering, which is why I think it just needed a refresh, you know? Just needed a refresh. I think the soil is a bit tired. So yeah, while it's not root bound or as root bound as I would like it to be before I repot anything, the other reasons to, this is really heavy. The other reasons, good reasons to repot your plants besides it being root bound is the soil might be of a poor quality, or if it needs a refresh, or it's just really compacted around the roots, which is in turn stunting its growth. I can't think, this is so heavy. Oy, oy, oy. But I do want to hold it up for you guys so you can see. I'm going to try and like not really poke it, just kind of loosen up the roots a bit at the bottom, give it a little bit of a fondle, bit of a, like loosen up around the bottom. But I'm not gonna try and remove all that old soil. I'm gonna take off that soil off the top though. Making a huge mess here. I really hope my tree's not gonna hate me for this. This beauty's actually doubled in growth since I bought it. I think I need to lay it down like this. It's the only way I can manage the soil without having to hold it up with one hand. So this tree is actually doubled in size since I bought it. It's sitting in a space where it gets bright and direct light all day long. It gets a few hours of, maybe like 2 hours of bright direct sunlight, but it's all morning sunlight, so it's not too harsh on the leaves. Ficuses love bright and direct light. They love warmth, they love airflow, just everything that most plants love. So looking at it now, it is actually quite root bound. The root system is really fine. I thought it'd be a lot thicker roots, but the root system is really fine on this, which means it's actually a lot more, while it's not as root bound as I thought it would be, the root system is a lot more complex than it looks, actually. It looks like a really big ball of soil, but the roots are very, very fine. So yeah, I don't know. I want to kind of like loosen it up a bit, but I also don't want to disturb those roots, because I said fiddle leaf fig trees can be quite fussy, and if you disturb it, they can throw a hissy fit and drop all their leaves. So I suppose that's gonna have to do. That's gonna have to do. Give it a bit of a pat. All right, I don't want to upset it anymore. Let's put it in the pot. Ooh, freaking heavy, man. So heavy. I should have repotted it before I watered it a few days ago. That's okay. Whew. I'm just gonna backfill around the sides of that now. There's a fair bit of space around the sides of it to refill, so I'm not gonna have to repot this again for a long time now after doing this. Too much, because I need some space up the top for the water so that the water doesn't like overflow over the sides. So I'm not going to fill the soil up to the brim of the pot. Give it a bit of a shake. I know the fiddle leaf fig trees like to get shaken. Makes them feel like the wind is blowing on them. And shaking your tree like this will strengthen the trunk. If you do it regularly every single day, which I don't do because I don't have time to do that, it'll actually strengthen their trunks and makes them grow up a lot stronger and a lot more established. I wish I had time to shake my trees, but I just don't. This is why airflow is really important for trees. It actually strengthens them. It gives them the feel of being outdoors. All right. That's gonna have to do. I'm gonna put it on this little wheelie trolley thing now. Oh my, so heavy. Just take all that soil off the bottom. Pop it on that. I need a second. I need a breath. That was a feet and a half. All right, well, hopefully my tree is a bit happier now. Look at this. It spins, it dances. I'm gonna have to get trolleys for the rest of my big plants. Look at this. So easy. I'm going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just watered this, so I don't wanna like water it again because the soil is still quite moist. All right, so I'm not gonna overwater this because I just watered it a few days ago, but I'm gonna let it maybe dry out for a week or so, and then I'm gonna give it another thorough watering through, just so that those roots are able to loosen up and start to find the whole new space around the pot that I've just given it. So that's that. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than that. Well, it was actually hard because it was so heavy, but it was harder because I was talking about it while I was doing it. It would have been pretty simple to just pull it out and put it in the new pot, but I was talking about it and I was sharing about it with you guys while I was doing it. So just a short video for today. I'm really glad to have got this job done because I was putting it off, and I really hope that this tree doesn't chuck a tantrum at me for disturbing it. So anyway, it needed to be done. Hopefully it will stay fine and it'll stay alive because I'd be really sad to lose this plant. Made such a big mess. Alright, this tree is probably going to take up most of the frame, but I didn't want to come back on camera and just have a proper chat to you guys without my brain feeling so frazzled. I felt bad that it was such a short repot video. Everything that I wanted to say that was actually helpful what left my mind the second I lifted this tree because it was so freaking heavy and I forgot everything that I wanted to say. So one of the other reasons why I wanted to repot this tree was that it stopped throwing out new leaves. Now I know that it has been winter for the past several months. We're almost in the middle of spring now, but this tree was still throwing out new leaves even last winter, and it stopped this winter. So I knew that it was time to refresh the soil, re-aerate the soil, and just give it a bit of fresh life, you know, a bit of a fresh breath, I should say. So that's another reason why I wanted to repot this tree. Let's move it to the other side. It's so big. As you can see here, there is a broken leaf up the top. Can you see this broken stem? I just broke that leaf off before because I've heard that if you prune or take off, it's called pinching. If you look up plant pinching, I suppose, I hope nothing else comes up for you, but the actual pinching that I'm talking about. But if you break off a new leaf up the top there, just above a node, just be careful with the latex or the sap from the tree. Can be quite irritating to the skin. It's quite sticky because it is a rubber tree. It's a ficus. But if you take that new growth off, if you pinch the top of that growth off, it'll start to branch off a whole new branch from the side. So that's what it's encouraging it to do, which is why pruning is actually so important for trees, for bushes, for plants, for anything. Pruning it back will force it to start out brand new growth from elsewhere in the plant. So that's why I pinched that leaf off. I'm hoping to maybe help it branch off a little more somewhere else on the tree. Like I said before, or I said very, very briefly, I've lost a lot of leaves at the bottom of the stems here. So it's looking a little bit naked down here. It's looking a little bit naked down there on those stems. So with those leaves falling off, I knew it was definitely high time to repot it. It didn't look very root bound, but what I was trying to actually say was the root system was very, very fine and it was everywhere throughout the pot. So I think it was actually feeling quite constricted. There was a lot of soil in it still, a lot of soil left, but is very compact. So those roots didn't have any space to breathe or to grow or to branch out. The roots were also pushed against the sides of the pot. It didn't look like it. Like I said, there was a lot of soil still left, but the root system was very fine. I don't know why I thought the root system would be a lot thicker and more white and more just like prominent, but that's the thing, you know, you learn new things all the time. And while it didn't look root bound, just looking closely at it, I could tell that it actually was, and it just needed a bit of zhuzhing up, really. So that's why I repotted my fiddle leaf fig tree. It stopped growing, it started to droop and decline. The leaves are actually starting to look a little bit yellow. They normally look a lot more vibrant and green than this. So it was definitely, I knew it was time to do something about it. Now, something that you can do to the lower stems of your fiddle leaf fig tree is to notch it. So I haven't actually tried this before, and this is something that I actually want to try today, is to notch the tree. So what that is to take a blade, a sharp blade, make sure that it's clean, sharp blade or knife or something, and to gently notch around just above a node. So you will see these nodes on the stems here. They are where the leaves were growing out of and where the leaves have since fallen off. What I'm gonna do is take the knife and notch around the stem of the tree just above the node. And it's kind of like similar to pruning, but it's not really, but it's simulating to the plant that you have pruned it, and it's like, oh, I've been cut, I need to start new growth. And that's the kind of the idea behind notching, but not exactly cutting the stem off altogether. It's something that you can do if you don't want to actually cut your tree off or cut your stems off. Notching is another option that you could try. So that's something that I wanted to try with this tree today. Just to see what it does. I thought, like, why not? I'm learning more and more all the time about my plants, and I thought, why not try notching? And if it does something, great. And if it doesn't, well, sorry, I cut you with and didn't really need to. But you know, that's the thing. We learn and we grow and we try new things with our plants and see what works and see what doesn't. But in theory, it should work because I've seen it work for other people, for one, and I've seen what pruning does for plants and taking cuttings and propagations and all that. So that's kind of something I just wanted to share in this video. So it was more than just a video of me struggling to lift this tree because I'm weak. So yeah, I hope that was a little bit more of value and you actually learned something from this video. So yeah, remember to take care of your fiddle leaf fig trees, guys. Once they've found a happy place in your house, like it starts to thrive and grow in that spot, don't move it. This has definitely outgrown the spot that I've currently got it in my dining room, but I do not want to move it. I'm scared to move it. I'm worried that if I put it somewhere else in the house, it's actually going to decline. So especially now after I've just repotted it, it's probably experienced some sort of shock, because you would too if your roots were tickled. Sorry. You would feel some kind of shock too if you were uprooted and just at least plonked into a brand new space. Like, you need some care, so, or something familiar. So I'm gonna leave it in the spot that it's currently happy in. I'm probably just gonna leave it there altogether and hope that it doesn't chuck a hissy fit at me for disturbing its roots. But it was chucking a hissy fit at me for not repotting it. So either way, I wasn't gonna win. Anyway, hopefully it does okay. Hopefully it does okay now. All right, that's really it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like it if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.